All right, welcome everyone to episode 4 of the Restless Nerd podcast. My name is Tom, and joining me is my brother Tim.
How's it going, guys?
All right, we made it to episode 4. This podcast is a little bit different. It's going to be a strictly audio podcast this time. I'm still going to upload it to YouTube, so you can check it out there. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Let's get right into the topics. So, one of the first topics for today is Dr. Disrespect's return to streaming. He put a teaser out yesterday. As of recording this, it is August 7th. So on the 6th, he put out a teaser saying that he was going to be streaming very soon. And he ended up putting up a test stream. He ended up pulling around 350,000 viewers. And he wasn't even on camera. So that was pretty amazing. And then the following day, he actually did an actual stream and hit up to about 470,000 viewers. So I think that's pretty amazing. He built up this hype after what happened with him and Twitch, and he kind of just took off from there. So streaming on Twitch, what do you think about this?
I'm actually really happy for him because I think YouTube is a platform that has so much more potential. You know, I mentioned it on the podcast before that, you know, the main way that I watch streams is if I'm on YouTube and I just happen to see that someone's live in my recommended. So, you know, I feel like there's so much potential for YouTube. It's just, you know, you still want to get the little guys out there at the same time. You know, you just don't want everyone watching the big guys. So, you know, it's just a matter of time. I feel like things are going to change a lot with the way that Twitch has been acting.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy. He just comes right out, gains all these viewers, has a bunch of new viewers. He started that, there's that join button on YouTube now. And he was getting people to join, and he wasn't even on camera. So that was pretty amazing. It was about I think it's $4.99 a month. And people were just dishing it out. And he said right now he has, what was it? I think it was 15 million Champions Club members. So that's a lot of money every month. It was either 15 or 1.5, somewhere around there. But yeah, either way, he's making a lot of money just from people joining and becoming a part of his group, the Champions Club. You get your little perks here and there, and I mean, he puts out really great content. He started releasing music, so that was pretty funny, and that was a part of his teasers. And he creates all these different personas, so it's going to be very interesting to see where he goes from here, and it's going to be interesting to see what legal action he's actually going to take with Twitch also. And I think depending what happens, it's going to set a precedent for other people who stream, and if something similar ever happens to them. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I know. Actually, one of our favorite streamers, Darkside Phil, he's been having issues on Twitch as far as copyright claims, false copyright claims that he's been having, and his streams have constantly been getting taken down. And Twitch they're so hands-off with some things, you know? It's like you don't really know what the employees are really doing, you know? There's some cases where they're on top of things. There's other cases where they're not, you know? It's kind of a mess. No one really knows what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's really hard, too, because there's not many streaming platforms to choose. And Twitch is one of the mainstream ones to pick. I mean, I stream on Twitch with this podcast and also playing video games. I tried Mixer. I felt like it was going to go under, and then it ended up going under. So I guess time will tell what's going to happen next. There's Facebook gaming, but Facebook gaming is really weird and very strange. I see people playing games, it just pops up on my news feed. I don't even know some of these people, and they just pop up on my news feed that they're playing games. So I find that a little bit strange. And also I wonder how the process in terms of searching for streamers and different things like that, how that works with Facebook. YouTube's also easier with that. It's a lot easier to find content from a specific person that you want to see on YouTube rather than Twitch. When you're on Twitch, you sit there and you'll try and find something you want to watch, and it's all categorized by what games people are specifically playing, not necessarily the personalities themselves. So you'll get stuck in a box. You'll click on a certain game, and some of the more popular games, if everybody's streaming it but you like that game and you want to stream it, sometimes you feel like you can't because you're going to get lost in all these different people. And even if you want your friends to just watch you stream, it's a pain for them just to find you. You have to grab your link and share it with them, and that's about the only way that they're going to be able to find you or watch your stream. So it's difficult, but we'll see how things go. I'd like to see YouTube do better in the game streaming, and see them improve and put some better things in place, and maybe they can compete some more with Twitch. Ninja went and he streamed on YouTube, and then he streamed on Twitch, so he's moving back and forth, and I think he's testing the waters to see where it goes. But right now you have Dr. Disrespect, and like we were saying, those numbers were ridiculous. So, I mean, we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I just really wish that Twitch would better implement the systems that they have. So, for example, they have their video on demand service where you can watch the past streams of different streamers. I feel as though no one uses that at all. I feel like if they implemented that into the search engine, then, you know, that would make Twitch just such a better place to go to, you know, for constantly viewing streams or viewing videos. I feel like if Twitch implemented more of what YouTube is doing, then they might be able to make it bigger. But right now I have my money on YouTube.
Yeah, I think if they worked better with like the keyword searches and allowing you to tag certain things to your videos or even the past streams, so once the stream goes in, you can add tags to it or something and make it easier for people to find your content. But without that, it makes things difficult. Even with something like this podcast, I can put certain things in the title, but if people go and search it on Twitch, and if I was live streaming and they go to search for something about Dr. Disrespect or anything along those lines, or anything else we're going to talk about today, like Halo or even anything about comic books, Batman, anything like that, you're not, it won't necessarily just populate on Twitch when you're searching for that. But if you're on YouTube, it'll populate very easily. You put it in your tags, you put it in the title, and it's going to come right up, and you can use the algorithm to your advantage. I know YouTube is a little bit strict with certain things, and it hurts some people, but in the end, their keyword searches and the way that their algorithm works is a lot better than some of these other people out here, especially the way Twitch does things.
Yeah, it's quite funny that this is our first podcast that isn't being streamed on Twitch, and we're sort of bad-mouthing them a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, if they did a little bit better, it would be harder to badmouth them. Yeah. But we'll see if they come up with any improvements as time goes on, and with everything that's going on with Dr. Disrespect, Ninja, Shroud still isn't even back after everything with Mixer. So we'll see what happens with all that. But another topic we have today is some more Halo Infinite news. We kind of talked about it a little bit when we talked about the Xbox press conference, but a little while after that, they ended up announcing that they're going to have a free-to-play multiplayer. They didn't really give too much information on it. They just said that it was free-to-play, but there's a lot of speculation of what it could be. They're saying that they want to keep that sandbox multiplayer feel. So, I mean, Halo multiplayer has always been fun, but I feel like with it being free to play too, they're going to try and gear it more towards esports, and they're going to try and break into how they used to be MLG back in the day. They're going to try and start their own esports, maybe arena or something like that, and try and compete with like the likes of Overwatch and Counter-Strike. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all that plays out. And I mean, I don't mind free to play. I do like the story of Halo, But depending on how the Halo Infinite story looks, I might just go to free-to-play route to test out the multiplayer and see how it goes. But, I mean, it shouldn't be pay to win, because in terms of Halo, most of the weapons and things that help you are things you pick up off the ground because of the way they set up the sandbox. So, I mean, I think it's a good attempt. And we were talking about Dr. Disrespect before this. He actually said he hopes they have a battle royale in Halo Infinite. So that would be very interesting. He said he feels like Halo was built to be a battle royale. Like it would be the perfect battle royale. But we'll see how that plays out. What are your thoughts in terms of Halo's free multiplayer and it maybe being geared towards esports?
Yeah, I feel as though Call of Duty Modern Warfare really set the precedent of what a free-to-play game should be like. The fact that they have Warzone as free-to-play, they constantly have sales on the multiplayer. I feel like that's probably the same route that they're going to go with Halo Infinite, and I really can't complain too much. I mean, with Modern Warfare, you have your microtransactions, but they're all cosmetics. It's not something that you have to put money into. It's something that you win by putting time into it. And I feel like that's probably the best route to go with a lot of games. And that's the route that a lot of games are taking these days.
Yeah, one thing I'm hoping is that the esports don't overtake the game itself. It's kind of happened with Overwatch, where nerfs and buffs and so much revolved around esports play. But all the people who like playing at home and like playing multiplayer at home, they had to deal with all those nerfs and buffs that didn't necessarily match up with play styles that people were playing in just regular multiplayer. So it hurt the fan base, and a lot of people stopped playing it because they're like, well, they're nerfing my characters that I like, and I don't know why, because people are running certain things in the pro league, but nobody's actually running that in actual multiplayer. So now all these random nerfs that you're doing to certain people's characters, and then instead of balancing that character back up, you're just buffing another character, and then it's making that character overpowered. So it's a whole mess at that point. So hopefully Halo doesn't go that route where they take like a certain rifle or, the plasma saber, and they don't nerf or buff certain things along the lines that of how it's going in esports. And then it impacts people who are just at home trying to play the game. So, I mean, we can only hope for the best, but we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, you know what? That kind of reminds me of Valorant, because Valorant is completely built off of being an esport, and that's why myself and many other people fell out of it, because it's just, it takes away so much of the fun aspect of it. When you look at a game like Super Smash Brothers, for instance, it's a multiplayer game first, and then it's an esport after that. And I feel like that's the route that more games have to take. Being fun first, and then an esport.
Yeah, that's what happened with that was the problem with Street Fighter. They, instead of building the game to just be fun, and then it also be an esport, which a lot of fighting game people say fighting games aren't an esport, but I mean it depends, I guess, who you ask. But I think Capcom definitely sees Street Fighter as an esport, and then they built the game so much around it being an esport, and it just hurt the game so much, and it made people just not enjoy it very much. And some people are just playing because it's like their job. They have to enter tournaments, they have to play, have to win money, have to stream. So that's the only reason they're playing it, but a lot of them aren't enjoying it while they're playing it. They see it as a job. So, I mean, that's going to be tough for some people.
Yeah, it's funny because all you have to do is look at Mortal Kombat 11 and the fact that people were playing that for fun, and it's such a big contrast between the people that were playing Street Fighter and the people that were playing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, and like Tekken 7 is still going strong. They're releasing a new season pass, and whenever I hop on Tekken 7, I mean, I am biased. It's one of my favorite games to play, but I hop back on and I'm like, man, I have a good time. Even when I play ranked, I have a good time. Where a lot of games you play ranked and you just feel like it's a burden. And you get to a point and you're like, all right, I don't want to play anymore. But Tekken, you could just sit there and just keep playing it because they just geared the game towards being fun. And then the esports aspect of tournaments and things like that came second. They don't leave those people out, but they want the game to be fun for everybody, not just people who are playing it to get money. But along the lines of Xbox, we have more news. This is about Xcloud, which is Xbox's game streaming service that they're trying to push out. It's kind of like Google Stadia, but better, because you pay a subscription fee, but you could just play the games. Like, you don't have to pay a subscription fee and then buy the games and go through a bunch of hoops just to play it, like Stadia gives you. Well, they've been trying to stretch it across different platforms. They want people to be able to play Xbox games on your phones, or on your crappy potato laptops, like whatever you have, on your iMacs, your old iMacs, your G3s. They want you to be able to play on everything. So they tried to get Apple to put it on their iOS store, and Apple blocked them. So Xbox isn't too happy about that, and Apple isn't playing nice right now. And I have a feeling they might have something in the works, which is why they're trying to block Xbox from having their streaming service, because, Apple's tried multiple times to break into the gaming arena, and I feel like streaming might be one of the better shots that they have with all the technology, all the extra servers they probably have. But, I mean, I don't know. I think it's weird. I think they should have just opened it up. It would make people more inclined to not say no to buying an iPhone. Like, you'll be able to have an option. Like, okay, should I get the Android phone? Should I get the iPhone? Because you wouldn't be restricted. You can get Xcloud on either or. But now you'll only get it on an Android device. You can't get it on an iOS device. Now that's going to make people's decisions for them if they were looking to get Xcloud. So now they're going to be like, all right, well, I don't want that iPhone because I can't get Xcloud on it. So it's going to isolate some people in their consumer market. And I don't think that's a very good idea.
Yeah, I think all you have to do is look at what Apple's been doing as far as their processors. The fact that they're moving away from Intel and going to ARM processors. If you look at the latest iPad, it's amazing. The iPad Pro, it's so powerful, It's so far beyond, a lot of laptop computers. So they have that potential. And I know they've been working on Apple Arcade, I think it is, which is basically a subscription service. And there's so much that they can implement as far as, letting people play games on their laptop, on their iPad, on their Mac. I feel like Apple's integration, it was built up so much, and now I feel like it's going to go even further now that everything's going to be on ARM processors. It's like everything that you could do on iOS, you can do just as well on your iMacs or your laptops or your iPad Pros, and everything's just going to be integrated together, completely separate from Intel, AMD, and game consoles.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this all goes and how it plays out, because I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but I guess we'll find out. And speaking of mobile, a Castlevania game was announced for mobile devices. And I'm kind of upset because I'm a Castlevania fan. And I would much rather have a console game than a mobile game. But I guess I'll take what I can get. I mean, it looks half decent. The funny thing is, Konami was trying to develop a mobile game themselves, and ended up canceling it. And then they went and they got a Chinese company to come in to develop the mobile game, because the Chinese company is so used to developing mobile games within the Chinese market. So Konami was like, well, we'll just get them to do it, and it'll probably end up being like a similar type game to what the other company has, and then they'll just like skin it with Castlevania. But I'm kind of disappointed with that. And also, I don't even know if it's coming out in North America. For all we know, it'll just come out in China because they think they'll have more mobile sales there. They'll be able to sell more like loot boxes or whatever they end up putting on it, whatever microtransactions get attached to it. So, I don't know. I just wish it was a regular game instead of a mobile game.
Sounds a lot like, what was it, Diablo Immortal?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very disappointing when you have, like, you're hype and you're like, oh, there's a new game in the series. Oh, I've been waiting for this for so long. And then they go, oh, yeah, it's a mobile game.
And I don't think you have as many people that are going to try to speak up for or against the Castlevania mobile game. So it's probably just going to go through, and they'll make their money, in whatever niche market they're looking for. As long as you have 150 people, putting $100 into the game every month, you're making bank off of it.
Yeah, but all you guys out there have phones, right? You have phones, don't you? This is the best quote from, what was that announced at BlizzCon?
Yeah, yep.
What was it,
I think
like
it was
3 years ago now?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. That was like the worst marketing you could have ever asked for.
Yeah.
You guys got phones, don't you? Yeah, let's see what else we have. So along the lines of China, Trump is looking to ban different Chinese companies. He's trying to ban TikTok, which, I mean, I'm not a fan of it to begin with, so I'm not too worried about that. My stepson loves TikTok, but he'll be heartbroken, but I'm sure he'll be fine. But they're also going after Tencent with this executive bill, and any companies that work with Tencent. So I think they said they're going to halt or add steps to checks that are being paid out from companies like Tencent, which is going to be really bad for certain streamers who stream for League of Legends or Valorant, or it might even interfere with some of Blizzard's properties like Overwatch, because Tencent has such a big impact on all that. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that ends up, because that's going to hurt some people's pockets.
Yeah, I guess it's just really hard to handle a monopoly when it's going on outside of your country.
Yeah.
So when you have so many American companies like Riot Games that are selling out their games to a Chinese corporation, at some point you kind of have to put a bit of a halt to it, because, people are just going to keep going to China to sell off their companies too. So, and a lot of times you don't know what data is going through, and I don't know. I just feel like there's too many gray areas going on where we do need more checks and balances when it comes to, outside companies.
Yeah. Even that, what was it, the anti-cheating software from Valorant. It was just so strange how it just, like, it does whatever the heck it wants. You boot up your computer, it's running. That's it. It's right there. It was stopping me from doing certain things. I was trying to change my background. It was messing up my wallpaper. I was having so many issues with just small programs running on my computer. It was trying to block them and tell me that it was cheating software that I was trying to use. So, I mean, it's kind of scary to think, hey, what if this company's recording other information, because that program was developed by a Chinese company again, and you just never know. But yeah, that's very interesting. Interesting executive order.
I know, and people want to try to like invoke the freedom of speech and everything, and it just doesn't apply at all when it comes to this. It's like, you just have to look further into things, you know? And people say, oh, well, you know, Facebook is doing the same thing and American companies do it, so why can't Chinese companies do it? It's like, no, you should try to hold everyone accountable. You know, if he wants to start with Chinese companies, then start with Chinese companies. I mean, you know, we got to start somewhere.
Yeah. And, yeah, the way that's playing out, it's gonna be fun to see. But Instagram's being smart because they started this new thing called Reels, and it's basically like TikTok but on Instagram. So they see everything that's unfolding. They were already developing something, and once they saw this, they just started trying to push it out even quicker, because it's like, hey, that's a market share right there. Hey, if TikTok's not around, that's those quick little snippets. That's just something they can use. So
yeah, it's funny because didn't Instagram buy out Vine?
yeah,
And
they did.
and then they completely dropped the ball. They bought Vine, closed down the app because they had their, you know, 5-second videos, or what was it, 7-second videos on Instagram, and no one even cared about it.
Yeah.
And that's why we got TikTok, is because it's basically the new Vine.
Yeah, and then the funny thing is, Instagram ended up extending the time that you can make videos, and then they made Instagram TV, so you could have like 30-minute long things, so it could be like YouTube. So funny. All these companies crack me up. Strategy, advantage play. That's what they're trying to do. I work at a casino, and one thing we always talk about is advantage play. And it's not necessarily something that's illegal, but it's something that'll give you an edge. And that's what a lot of these companies are trying to do. They're not doing things that are necessarily illegal, but they'll definitely do something to try and give them the edge over everybody else. Yeah, so next on the agenda is the Analogue Pocket. Something we were both looking forward to for a period of time. And then it got announced. And then the 13 accessories got announced that they were releasing with it. And then I saw the price. I saw the price of the accessories, and I saw how much it would be for me to try and ship it to myself. And I said, nah, I think I'm good. But then they released it, and it sold out in like 10 minutes. And people were not very happy about that. I think it's funny. The Analogue Pocket itself came out to about $200. They had a dock. The dock was like $100. And then, if you wanted a screen protector, that was like, forget how much that was. I think it was like 15. Yeah, it was like 15. And then the case for the console was $30. So after buying all that stuff, plus shipping and tax, you'll be paying a pretty sum of money. It'd be like, close to $400. A little bit more also, because I forgot there's the cartridges that you can use to play different systems. And those were $30 each. And technically only one is releasing with the system, and the other two are supposed to release later. So it was like $90 in just extra cartridges that you would need. Plus they were charging for each different type of cable for the system. And then, so when it sold out in 10 minutes, automatically it was up on eBay, and people were selling it for over $1,000. Just the system, maybe with a dock with it, and it was like 1,000, 1,100. It was pretty crazy, and people were pretty mad because it seems like there were bots inside of the checkout, and they would go to buy it, they'd get to the shipping screen, it would freeze up, and then they would lose their purchase, and it'll say, oh, sorry, you can't make this purchase, and then it was sold out. So I'm pretty sure there was some sort of denial of service happening, and people who didn't get in before that went into effect really got screwed over, and a lot of people were mad. One YouTuber, he was like, what'd they do, make 3 of them? He was like, I got one. He's like, I don't know how. Oh, and Elijah Wood from Lord of the Rings. Yeah. He was like, he actually tweeted at Analogue saying that he was trying to get an Analog Pocket and he wasn't able to. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm not the hardcore gamer, that I used to be, but when it comes to retro games, I just like, is it a good idea? Yeah, it's a good idea. Is it something I'm ready to sink $400 into? Not exactly. And then even at that, you're putting in $400, but then you need to buy cartridges as well. And cartridge prices, if you want an authentic cartridge, they've completely shot up. So say if I wanted to buy Pokemon Emerald with my Analog Pocket, well, you could go and add $90, somewhere around there to your purchase. It's so like crazy to me that people are willing to spend that much money. The Switch I actually saw on Amazon. It was available for pre-order, that they'll be having some back in stock. So the fact that people are spending so much money on retro games just it amazes me.
Yeah, it's all pretty crazy. The funny thing is, and we had talked about it when quarantine was starting, and I was trying to decide, should I save my money and wait for the Analog Pocket to come out, or should I just modify a Game Boy Advance? And I ended up modifying the Game Boy Advance. In the end, I already had the Game Boy Advance, so that was one purchase I didn't have to make. But after buying a IPS screen, a new casing for the Game Boy Advance, a rechargeable battery with USB-C, after buying all those things, it probably totaled maybe $100, $110 or $20 maybe at the most after shipping and everything. And it's great. I love it. And if you think about it, you could get like a flash cart. And, if you own the games and you can, upload the games onto the flash cart and play all these different games that you could want. And, I mean, I love it. The IPS screen is clear. It's great. And some people, if you're really savvy with soldering iron, you can solder an upgraded amp for the speaker. You can upgrade the speaker inside of it. There's so much you can do and not spend $400, but get a great experience out of a handheld retro system. And yeah, you might not be able to play, Game Gear games on it or Atari Lynx. But I mean, I don't know that many people who are sitting around going, man, I want to break out these, 5 Atari Lynx games that I actually have in my library, and I want to sit and play them. Most people have a Game Boy library where they have Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, Game Boy Advance games. And I mean, yeah, you have the couple people who play Game Gear games, but also, if you want to play Game Gear games, you're better off buying the Analog, I think it's the MG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or MG.
Yeah, it's the Mega Drive analog system.
Yeah.
And they sell the adapter for Game Gear games. It sells out every now and again. It went back into stock today. It's like $50. You get that adapter. You get the SG3 adapter, which lets you play like really old Sega games. Like that's like their first system. And then it gives you an adapter to play the Master System card games, flash card based games. And you get all those adapters for $50. The system itself is $190. So right there, you're just paying like $2 something. You can play all these different things, and you're a lot better off than buying the Analog. Yeah, it's portable, but honestly, are you gonna carry around all these cartridges with you while you're traveling? I don't think so. Most of these guys out here are gonna end up using some sort of flash cart or something like that to play their games, and there's alternative options to that. You don't need a $400 game system. At that point, you're better off buying one of these like $80 retro handhelds that have emulators inside of them.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel, a lot more like my age, like Gen Z. The fact that I see the mobile phone and, being on the computer as so much of a better way to get entertainment. But at the same time, it's just the truth. It's like if you really want to get some entertainment, you got your phone, you got your computer, you maybe get a console. Like, pretty much that's all that you need when it comes to a lot of stuff. I feel like people are just buying into something that they don't need or they want and aren't really going to use that often.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what some people. I think it's a lot of times there's a lot of people with disposable incomes that are just like, hey, I have some money to burn, I'm just gonna burn it, and then they buy this random stuff. People were saying that about OnlyFans. They were like, yeah, if you have a disposable income, I don't see a problem with that. You're just trying to find something to spend money on. But if you don't have that disposable income, I do not recommend that you you do any of this stuff. You're gonna put yourself in a hole. But next story is the wonderful Nintendo announcement. So people have been waiting for an announcement from Nintendo, waiting for something new. Nintendo gives them what they want. They said, you know what? We have a new Switch game that's going to come out soon. It's Pikmin 3. and people had mixed feelings about it because they sat there thinking, okay, that's cool. I like Pikmin. It's a pretty cool game. Another Wii U port, but I'll take it. And then other people are like, I want a bigger announcement. I want something more. Which there's rumors that there's going to be a direct coming up soon, but we'll see what happens with that. But
there's always rumors that a direct is coming up.
There's a direct every week until there's not. Until you sit there and you go, oh, no, there's nothing on Nintendo's YouTube channel. So, I mean, I think it's pretty cool, Pikmin 3. Like we were saying before, I'd rather have something like a Mario HD collection or something like that, but I guess a lot of us will take what we can get in terms of Nintendo IPs.
Yeah, it's funny because Nintendo just lacks so often, but people still buy into it. And hey, I'm one of those people. But, I might actually end up picking up Pikmin 3 Deluxe. But at the same time, it's like you're constantly getting beat down with the fact that they're just, baiting you so much. The fact that they've put out announcements that they've been working on, a new Metroid Prime and a new Bayonetta only for, it to be 2 to 3 years on, and you hear absolutely nothing about it. It's like, okay, Nintendo, at some time you got to give us something.
Yeah, hopefully they have some good announcements coming soon. Just something new. Just something. Something new. And in terms of new, I mean like a new IP or something like that. So many IPs are just, it feels recycled. But we can only sit and wait and hope for the best.
Yeah, I told you. Like every single time we go to do a podcast, I'm like, maybe Nintendo will do something now. Nope, nothing.
You're one of the hopeful.
Yeah.
All right, and to round up the podcast, I'm gonna do I think I'm gonna start doing this every week. It's semi-inspired by comic book podcasters type / YouTube. His name's Comic Tom, and he does like a roundup from this company called comicbookinvest.com, CBSI. And any of my comic book fans out there, I want to give you some information so you know if you have any of these books, you know what they're worth or what they're going for right now. And if you're just, maybe you're on tough times, you need to sell something or anything like that, this might be able to help you out a little bit. So there's always a top 10 every week, so I figured I'll just run through them real quick, give people some information, some insight, and then if there's something in here we talk about, we'll talk about it. So, see how it goes. This is a test, the first week of doing this. So, number 10 on the list right now is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 104. It's a 1 in 10 variant. Okay, this book it was at $20 selling on eBay, and it's jumped to about $30 and $50 within the past couple days. So that one's going up. I think it's around the hype from the last Ronin comic book. The cover gives off the feeling of whoever survives in the last Ronin. So it's really hiking the prices up. Number 9 on the list, we have Star Wars Bounty Hunters. Number 1, the second print. It's already going for more than $15, and it's a second print that just came out. It has a really nice cover on it, so you guys should check it out. If your local comic book shop has it, snatch it up, make yourself a quick couple bucks. Number 8 is Ice Cream Man, number 20. It's a Cameron Stewart variant, so the variant actually looks like a Dr. Seuss book. So that's pretty interesting. Price is going up. It's gone up to about $20 after release, so it's not too bad. It's hiking up slowly. Some of these books, sometimes you gotta just sell them and get that money right away, because sometimes they'll go up to like maybe $25, $30. That'll be the most you can get for them, and then they just end up dropping. And some of them drop hard. They'll go down to like $5, and they were going for like $35 like the week before. So only time will tell, and you really sit and you have to think to yourself, does this comic have, staying power? Can it stay up at that price range? But it just depends what's going on in entertainment at the time. If there's movies coming out, there's a new cartoon series, a spin-off, anything like that can hike the price up. Number 7, we have Young Avengers number 1. So a 9.8 was selling for around $300 to $325, and this week it's gone up to about $400 and over. So that has a lot of first appearances of different characters. Like I think it's Kate Bishop. She's one of the Hawkeyes, female Hawkeye. She's going to be in a Disney Plus series, so that's one of the reasons why the book's going up in price. And there's also a bunch of characters from Young Avengers that they're saying there might be a movie or some sort of spin-off going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so we'll see how it goes. Number 6 is Raphael number 1. So the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series had a spin-off, and it was Raphael number 1. And that book's starting to go up in price. 9.8s are going for $1,750. The thing that hurts me is I was looking for this book, and I don't want to spend that amount of money on it. If I could spend like $80, I'd be happy. Number 5 is Kanto number 1. I actually have this book, so it's good to see it on this list. It's doubled this week to $120 plus. 9.8s are shooting up pretty high, so which is pretty crazy. It's hard to find a 9.8 for this book because the print run, a lot of them had wrinkles in the covers. Seems like there was an issue during the printing process or shipping process, one or the other. A lot of the books you could press it out, so it'll give you a higher grade, and you'll have a better shot of getting more money for it in the long run. Number 4 is Star Wars Legacy number 1. It's a third print. So this is a first appearance of Darth Krayt. It was going for around $30 to $50, and all of a sudden it jumped up to about $100 plus. Number 3 is Ultimates number 2. It's a second print. First appearance of Lifebringer Galactus. This book is going for $100 plus. It's kind of shot up out of nowhere, so there's probably a low print run on it. Usually second prints have a lower print run, so I wouldn't be surprised. Number 2, we have Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. It was a 1 in 50 variant by Fiona Staples. It's a pretty cool variant. You have them between 2 cars. So 9.8s are going for around... They were going for $250 at the beginning of the year, and now they've shot up to the $1,000 mark. This week there's been a sale for $2,200. That's a lot of money. So be on the lookout. And then number 1 on the list, we have a new book. It actually came out this Wednesday, and this is, I believe it's supposed to be the first appearance of King Robin, a new character in the Dark Knight's Death Metal series. So it's Dark Knight's Death Metal, Legends of Dark Knights, number 1. It was a 1 in 25 variant. This book is already going for around $200, and it just came out on Wednesday. So this is the variant. The regular copy of it, I believe, is going for around, last time I saw it was like $25, $30. Mind you, this is a $5 book, and it shot up to this amount. So we'll see if there's staying power, because this is around the same storyline with The Batman Who Laughs, and his books have stuck around, and they've increased a bit in price. So we'll see how that goes. But that's the list. If you want to see it for yourself, go to comicbookinvest.com, CBSI. It's a great website. It kind of outlines things, and it'll give you a update every week of books that could be hot for that new comic book Wednesday. But that's been our podcast. That's one way to finish it off. Hopefully some of you guys can get some money, and we'll see how it goes. That's the end of episode 4. It was good talking to you guys, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. See you next time, guys.